Diddy's trial is tomorrow, and just a day before court, shocking claims have surfaced from Justin Bieber. He has revealed disturbing details about what Diddy allegedly did to him at age 13. The truth is unraveling about how Justin was handed over to Diddy, with major figures like Usher, L.A. Reid, and Clive Davis reportedly involved in a larger trafficking scheme. Rumors about Justin's drug use are now being linked to the trauma he endured. Sources say Justin is struggling and he's allegedly been subpoenaed to testify, fully aware that he appears on tapes Diddy is accused of secretly recording.
I'm begging it, Rob.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person. Besides his talent, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Justin, You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Justin Bieber was just 13 when his breakout single One Time went viral on YouTube. Back then, he was merely an internet sensation, until Usher stepped in and transformed him into a global pop star. Usher's label Layface Records quickly took interest, and executive L.A. Reid recognized Justin's star potential right away. Justin was soon signed and shockingly handed over to Usher. But Usher wasn't acting alone. He had Diddy backing him. In a surprising move, Usher gave Diddy full access to Justin. And from there, things took a dark and disturbing turn that's only now coming to light.
It's good, selling out arenas and everything. Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
What do you care about, guys? It's money. You don't care about people. Only money. Only money. No people. You don't care about human beings. Go. Go. Go.
Remember that when Usher was 13, his mother gave him to Diddy, and during their time together, Usher was exposed to sex and allegedly sexually abused by Diddy. Everyone in the industry, including Diddy's friends, knew what Diddy was planning to do with Justin, and this was just history repeating itself.
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio, and who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. Rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him and I was like, Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one?" And he was like, "Let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out." So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta where I got to meet him again. And he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was kind of like, what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO.
Taryn Howard claims that Justin started using drugs after becoming traumatized. Videos of Justin dozing off at concerts and seeming incredibly thin have surfaced recently, and in one of them, Justin is even crying as Haley consoles him. Why is Justin crying? I understand that some males struggle with it, but Justin and Usher are both victims of abuse and are unable to move past it. Bieber
moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans. Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like a living.
Life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
Justin Bieber's representative is finally addressing the recent rumors surrounding his alleged drug use. The rep, speaking to TMZ on February 23rd, firmly denied the claims, stating they are absolutely not true. They added that Justin has been going through a deeply transformative period, cutting ties with longtime friends and business associates who no longer had his best interests at heart. As he approaches his 31st birthday on March 1st, Justin is focusing on his family and music, not on harmful speculation about his health, which his rep called exhausting and pitiful.
They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what pedophiles do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids. Now, if Usher is a procurer, and if Usher knew what was gonna happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak off, is he a good guy? Especially considering what happened to him, especially considering that he sat Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's Flavor Camp? And his immediate response was, hell no! So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours.
This pushback comes as concern grows over how young stars are treated in the industry. Justin, now a father to 6-month-old Jack Blues Bieber with wife Haley, has been open about the abuse and exploitation he endured in his youth. In an emotional interview with Apple TV, he broke down in tears, recounting how everyone from his parents to his mentors abandoned him during his most vulnerable years. He also expressed his desire to protect younger artists like Billie Eilish, recognizing signs in her that reminded him of his own trauma. It was hard for me being that young in the industry. Justin said, everyone said they loved me but turned their backs in a second. He hoped to be someone Billie could rely on, though he emphasized that any support must come naturally, not be forced. If she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her.
You get career. Do you know Raymond Usher the Fourth?
No.
Do you know an individual, an entertainer by the name of Usher?
Yeah, Usher. That sounds familiar.
Isn't it true that Usher was instrumental in starting your career?
What does that have to do with this litigation, Mr. DeKalb? This is just you trying to harass the client.
Before we came back here, you had asked me.
She's going to let her read back the question. Thank you for your memory. Is it true that Usher was very instrumental in starting your career?
That was the last question. I was found on YouTube. I think that I was detrimental to my own career.
The Bieber, Justin Bieber, is continuing the purge. He has now moved to unfollow Usher, okay, his original mentor. So this is a very big story. And the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing, Hollywood Babylon, that is. Of course, many people, I believe, are accurately assuming that this has something to do. One element has to do with the Diddy lawsuit. A lot of revelations were made in the Diddy lawsuit. So I'm going to start this by saying allegedly, okay, obviously, he has not yet been convicted of everything, but I knew that he was going to get arrested because after reading through this lawsuit, there were just so many pictures, way too many descriptions. He had hours of video footage proving his claims. I'm referring to the person who initially filed this, Rodney Lil Rod, a producer who went into great detail, laborious effort to basically describe almost a homosexual ring in which people were being drugged at various Diddy parties. But he describes how essentially him being a young producer, they tried to initiate him into homosexuality. And I'm going to read this directly from a lawsuit. It says, quote, Mr. Combs, that's Diddy, used access to Stevie J and his knowledge that the producer, Mr. Jones, admired Stevie J to groom and enticed Mr. Jones to engage in homosexuality. But then there's a footnote in the filing, right? Because the names are redacted. And in the footnote, it reads that regarding the R&B singer that Diddy allegedly slept with, he performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency. So this let people know that very clearly the name that was redacted had to have been Usher, because it was Usher who recently performed at the Super Bowl, and it was Usher at the time of this filing who had just had a very successful Vegas residency.
I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that?
He's coming back out and it's all of a sudden.
I'm scared that security will pull out. I'll fucking run it.
I do feel bad sorry for him. We're all trying to bombard.
I'm not going to talk to me.
Hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah. So yeah. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to.
Justin's reflection highlights what Usher should have done break the cycle, instead of silently enabling it. His words serve as a sobering reminder that minors have never truly been safe in the entertainment world.